Viewers, let's watch this video. Let's watch it.
Second
God
Peter
have
3:1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you in both which are stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. Verse 2. That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. The word scoffers refer to those who deride the gospel. It refers to a mocker and is often used for false teachers. Scoffers. It implies a derider, a mocker, a false teacher. And Brother Peter brings to mind the discernment that every believer ought to have about what is taught. Discernment. Discernment. That every believer ought to have. He says, I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. That will mean this subject was a reminder, which means the work of the pastor also involves putting out constant reminders. Hence, a preacher of the gospel must comfort himself with saying the same things for a long time. A preacher must keep saying the same things for a very long time. And Paul says, it's not grievous for me to say the same things, but for you, it is safe. In other words, they are identified as scoffers as a function of discerning what they teach. Further, in that same chapter, he comforts the hearts of the believers in the fact of the resurrection of the body of believers. And that is a fact earlier explained in this study. I began to talk about the body of believers as the future tense of salvation. There's the past tense, the present tense, and the future tense of salvation.